Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you too. A year later, do you feel like you're
Next question.
The reporter didn't even get to finish the question, but honestly, he didn't need to. In just 2 words, Angel Reese summed up the current reality of the WNBA and its complicated relationship with Caitlin Clark. And right now, that relationship is shifting in a major way. Let's break it down. Clark's impact on the league is impossible to ignore. Millions of new fans, sold-out arenas, and record-shattering viewership. But just as undeniable is how the league mishandled this golden opportunity. Instead of fully embracing the Caitlin Clark effect, many pushed back. They questioned the hype, minimized her influence, and even mocked her fan base. What should have been seen as a gift was treated like a threat, and from the outside, it made absolutely no sense.
But the WNBA last year, bless their hearts, finally got a star. And they didn't know that. They couldn't figure it out. Well, we don't want to put too much Caitlin Clark on. Nope, every game. More Caitlin Clark all the time, always. Caitlin Clark is easily the most influential athlete in a team sport since Michael Jordan.
The success, the headlines, the packed arenas, the mainstream breakthrough, it was everything the WNBA had been chasing for decades. They finally had the moment, the spotlight, and the cultural breakthrough that could lead to real money, bigger salaries, and global relevance. But here's the catch. It was Caitlin Clark leading the charge. And for some players, that didn't feel like a celebration. It felt like a loss. Because for years, many believed they would be the ones to elevate the league together. Now, that narrative was changing overnight. And maybe the hardest truth to accept? Fans do care about women's basketball. They just showed up in massive numbers for Caitlin Clark.
There's levels to this thing, and that's just life. We all went through it.
You can actually see it play out almost like stages of grief, denial, frustration, resistance. Even Diana Taurasi and others became part of that broader conversation. And honestly, it hasn't always been a great look for the WNBA. But now something has shifted. A moment that seemed small at first has started to change everything, and suddenly the league looks like it's trying to get on the right side of history. Let's rewind for a second. By this point last season, Caitlin Clark wasn't just part of the conversation. She was the conversation. She tripled viewership, sold out arenas, even NBA venues, and turned every Indiana Fever game into a must-watch event. Fans lined up for hours, and resale tickets were going for playoff-level prices during the regular season.
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
The tension actually started before Caitlin Clark even stepped onto a WNBA court. Her hype was generational. She broke the all-time NCAA scoring record, men's and women's, led Iowa to back-to-back national title games, and filled every arena she played in. Logo threes became routine. Then came the draft. No drama, no debate. She was the clear #1 pick. But more than that, she was the moment. Cameras everywhere, sponsors lining up, non-stop media attention. And that's where things got complicated. The league had seen superstars before. Aya Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Breanna Stewart, elite players, champions, MVPs. But none entered with this level of hype. And for some, that created tension. That was stage 1, denial. Not just doubt, but resistance. You could feel it building before she even played a single game.
Now, if we say her stats are today, what?
20 points, 8.4 assists, 6 rebounds.
That's crazy.
But 5 points.
If Caitlin Clark had struggled early, even just looked average, the critics would have had their moment. The narrative was ready. College is one thing, but the WNBA is different. The hype would have faded, attention would have moved on, and the old guard would have felt validated. But that's not what happened. Her debut pulled in over 2 million viewers, the most watched WNBA game in more than 20 years. Every game she played boosted ratings. National broadcasts increased, arenas sold out, and merchandise flew off the shelves. She didn't just meet expectations, she took over the spotlight. And that's when the tone shifted. Stage 2, frustration.
Caitlin's coming. There's more than just that are coming. What will the league have in store for them when they get there?
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
Once it became clear that Caitlin Clark's impact wasn't slowing down, no matter the criticism or eye rolls, the response shifted. The pushback moved onto the court. Whether intentional or not, games became more physical around her. Hard screens, off-ball contact, extra bumps, and the whistles often stayed silent. It turned into a pattern. Let her feel it, test her, wear her down. And you could see the toll. She looked exhausted at times, bruised, constantly under pressure. But she didn't break. She adjusted, got stronger, and came back even better. After the break, she elevated her game to another level, leading the Indiana Fever, racking up assists and playing at an elite level. That's when things shifted again, into the bargaining phase. People started trying to explain this new reality in a way that protected their own pride. Because the truth was hard to ignore, the spotlight had moved and it was now centered on her.
Voting last season. Clark, hammered. 3 Sky players coming over. Here's Clark. For 29 points, gets tripped up.
Is good. Kennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench.
Instead of going directly at Caitlin Clark, the criticism shifted to everything around her. The focus turned to her fans, the media, and the attention she was getting. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't about her performance. It was about privilege and narratives. Some claimed her popularity came from factors outside basketball, dismissing what she was actually doing on the court. And this was happening while she was leading the league in assists as a rookie and drawing record-breaking crowds. But instead of acknowledging that, the story being pushed tried to reframe her success as something else entirely.
It's just the structure of the way media plays out race. So last night we read Time magazine where Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover?
The one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her. Little girls with their parents and the fervor and the energy there.
Why her?
Same thing.
Why her?
Well, but she was a white girl from the middle of America.
It followed a familiar pattern. Repeat a narrative enough times and eventually people start to believe it. Some began downplaying Caitlin Clark's talent altogether. But while that conversation was happening, reality was moving in the opposite direction. Veteran players weren't distancing themselves, they were heading toward Indiana Fever. Experienced names like DeWanna Bonner, Natasha Howard, and Sydney Colson chose to be part of that environment. These weren't players without options, they were proven veterans. And their decisions said a lot. Not long ago, voices like Cheryl Swoops had suggested Indiana wasn't a top destination. Even Diana Taurasi referenced those old narratives. But that perception changed quickly. Indiana became one of the most talked about destinations in the league, and that shift didn't happen by accident.
While Caitlin is fantastic and I think she's going to have an incredible career in the WNBA, there are women that were worthy of coverage prior to her arriving, and I just will not be silenced when it comes to that.
Then came the visible changes. Arenas started getting upgraded or swapped out entirely. Teams moved games to larger venues, not for playoffs or special events, but because Caitlin Clark was coming to town. Demand made the decision for them. More fans, more tickets, bigger stages. The broadcast schedule told the same story. A huge majority of Indiana Fever games were picked up for national TV. That's not just exposure, that's a clear shift in focus. Networks weren't testing the waters, they were committing. Even preseason games drew massive crowds. One exhibition matchup sold out a 15,000-seat arena, before the season even started. No standings, no stakes, just the draw of seeing her play.
And for the first time in history, WNBA games will be played in the United Center. The Chicago Sky will host the Indiana Fever at the UC on Saturday, June 7th, and on Sunday, July 27th.
At that point, the Caitlin Clark effect was no longer a debate. It was measurable through ticket sales, ratings, and overall momentum. It wasn't just hype, it was real impact. And for many around the league, that reality started to settle in. Teams adjusted their promotions around Indiana Fever games. Attendance spikes followed her schedule. Broadcasters leaned into it. Sponsors followed the attention. The shift was happening in real time, and eventually, it led to something inevitable: acceptance.
The average reported ticket price was $650. Now, if you do the math here and you do 15,000 people times $650, that is almost $9.75 million just for a WNBA preseason game.
Has the coverage been perfect? Not even close. There are still double standards, missed recognition, and plenty of voices quicker to criticize than to celebrate. But slowly and very clearly, the tone is changing. The same media outlets that once questioned Caitlin Clark at every turn are now highlighting her leadership, her discipline, and her impact on the game. Even some players who were once skeptical are starting to give her real credit, not just acknowledging her talent, but recognizing that she's actively reshaping the WNBA. And that shift brings us to the defining moment, the one that truly cemented everything: her homecoming.
Yes, have we ever had teams have to get into larger arenas to play against a team? No, we have not. So if we have more eyeballs on the game and Caitlin Clark brings that, why would we feel some kind of way because she has more television games? I think we have to understand that when one player eats, we all eat. And as we all get more opportunities, it just opens it up for everyone else.
Caitlin Clark a problem, bro.
Yeah, she that.
I just think about my rookie year and I think about how I came into the league and I'm like, bro, it was such a crazy transition for me to just understand what it's like to play at the pro level. And it's like this girl coming in as a rookie and going she broke the record for assists. I don't think people really understand how crazy that is to do as a rookie, your first year doing this. But that's another episode. Shout out to Caitlin, bro.
The plays that she was making still, despite all that, was insane. But people were so caught up in the logo threes and the 20 3-point attempts per game, which absolutely I understand that. It was so much fun to watch. But I always said she could potentially be one of the best point guards to ever play in the WNBA.
That exhibition game drew over 1.3 million viewers, and it wasn't just about the number. It was about what that number represented. It didn't just lead WNBA preseason viewership. It outperformed games from other professional leagues. The arena was packed, the energy unmatched, but the real story was the spotlight. And Caitlin Clark didn't shy away from it, she embraced it. She understood exactly what the audience came to see, and she delivered.
The fans filed outside in droves, getting ready at Carver Hawkeye Arena, and watch parties all around Iowa City. Everybody wants to catch a glimpse of Iowa's favorite daughter, Caitlin Clark, returning home.
With all eyes locked in, Caitlin Clark pushed up the court and drilled a deep three from nearly the exact spot where she broke the NCAA scoring record. It wasn't just a basket, it was a message. The crowd erupted instantly. Because at that moment, it wasn't just basketball anymore. It was entertainment, storytelling, a full-circle moment executed perfectly. She knew the stage, she understood the significance, and she created a memory that fans won't forget anytime soon.
Possessions of the day for Brazil. Here's Clark. Wow! You bet! From beyond the logo!
And even the Brazil women's national basketball team felt it. After the game, it wasn't just handshakes and goodbyes. They surrounded Caitlin Clark, smiling, taking pictures, treating the moment like they were meeting someone iconic. In their eyes, it wasn't just another player. It felt bigger than that. The sold-out crowd, the massive viewership, the post-game reactions, it all pointed to the same reality. In a world driven by moments and visuals, this was undeniable. The numbers had already told the story, ratings, ticket sales, media buzz, but this moment made it real in a different way. It wasn't about projections anymore. It was happening right in front of everyone.
I think one of the things I love about Caitlin the most is her understanding and willingness to meet the moment and do the thing that she knows everyone wants her to do.
She knows what the people
She broke the record making that shot to begin with. There's just a certain star quality and star power there. But it takes you being confident enough, willing enough to be oh, no. I know what you want. Come here. I'm going to give it to you. I loved it so much. I just think it's great. I love when athletes have that, bring the cameras right over here.
Well,
it's so fun.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. She knows it.
And just like that, everything shifted. The game wasn't the same anymore.
Yeah, it is clear that she is having her freaking Michael Jordan moment right now.
You can feel the shift now. Players, media, analysts, suddenly the tone around Caitlin Clark is far more supportive than it was just weeks ago. And it's not hard to see why. After the preseason numbers, the sold-out arenas, and the undeniable energy she brings to every game, the debate is basically over. At this point, it's no longer about opinions, it's about reality.
1.3 million people watched it on ESPN. 1.3 million people. Let me put that in perspective, just between us. No NBA preseason game has had that audience in the last 7 years. Only 2 preseason games in the NBA have had that audience in the last 15 years. More people watched this preseason game than Game 1 of last year's WNBA Finals. No MLB spring training game has ever come close. The most is when 912,000 people watched the Yankees-Phillies, and that was 20 years ago. 1.3 million people watched Caitlin Clark.
And with that, the game changed.
The favorite to win MVP, should she be?
Yeah, I think so. When you talk about Caitlin Clark, she averaged 19 points, 8 assists. I love that you're counting for me. I need you to count out loud. 19 points, 8 assists last season, but had an even better finish to the season after the All-Star break, after the Olympic break. She lit it up. What did she average? 12 assists during that time? She now has more pieces around her, more teammates she can get the ball to, and she had a full off season.
It is a balance, but she's a generational talent. No league's ever about one player, but in this case, Caitlin brought tens of millions of new viewers into the W, and there's no denying that impact. Not just in the WNBA, but the world of sports. Adam and I talk all the time about she's the most popular athlete in America, you know.
And here's the part that really separates Caitlin Clark. She's not just benefiting from the spotlight, she's outworking everyone in it. While others eased through the offseason, she stayed on the move, high-profile events, major appearances, even stepping into spaces usually reserved for elite athletes. Then right back in the gym early the next morning. No shortcuts, no excuses. That's not just discipline. That's a mindset you usually see from legends like Kobe Bryant. Now she's coming back bigger, stronger, and more prepared than ever. Her game is sharper, her confidence higher, and her understanding of the WNBA is complete. She's not adjusting anymore, she's taking control. And around the league, reactions are changing. Some critics are starting to praise her, others have gone quiet. Because deep down, everyone can see what's happening. For many, this moment hits differently. Some embrace it like Sophie Cunningham. Others struggle with it. But no matter how it looks on the surface, the reality is here. The proof is everywhere, from the numbers to the atmosphere to the attention. That Iowa preseason game wasn't just hype, it was confirmation. The Caitlin Clark effect is back, and this time it's even bigger.